Alright. I think everything should be working now, hopefully. Alright, so I'm just going to start a new game. I've played this a bit already. A bit, I say. I've completed at least one campaign, but I'm going to start a new game. Actually, two. Complete this one, and then this scenario. You got different scenarios here. Loosely based on, well, I say loosely. The starting position is historically based, but, after you start it, go off the rails pretty quickly. So I'm going to try... I did think in advance of what scenario and what thing I wanted to try. So I am going to do this one. Now, I guess you could pick your daimyo, your / country, as it were, clan from here, but a little silly. You can just click this button and just go, I want to go over here or over there. Which clan you want. So I'm going to be playing as the Ryuzoji clan up here. I'm going to try, well, step one anyways, to conquer Kyushu. This whole island here. We're going to see if we can, if we can be the ones to come out top here. I think historically you're really looking at Otomo and Shimatsu here. And I don't know how much of a contender they really were. But we're going to see if we can push everyone else out here. Hope they don't get involved. Alright. So let's see here. We start off, we're rank 19. So the 19th most powerful country, or clan. 5 bases, 16 officers. And our resolve is Minister of the 5 states. 5 states. I've never played this clan, so I don't know what it does, but I'm sure it's fine. It's I who rules Goshu. My endless legion shall devour. I don't know if they're endless right now. You seem like you're in a little small area. Bear of Bizen. Think too long and you'll rot. A warrior moves quickly and pillages rapidly. Powerful. Take from those who follow you, put those who resist to the blade. You know what? Sounds good. There's some clans that have like diplomacy focuses, but I don't know, what's the point? See, and I picked this scenario because I figured we might actually get some events and some quests. You can definitely play and have nothing happen to you, and you just kind of play without any historical events happening to you, although they'll still happen around you. Let's see here, though. Actually, I accidentally skipped that. Okay. Almost feel like if I should read this aloud or not. But guys. Look at this fancy man here, wearing Westerner clothes. Of course. This would make more sense if I had started at the earliest scenario, and you could see the progression of Oda Nobunaga, how he got here, but I don't know about this guy. He looks a little suspicious if you ask me. Just look at him. You can't trust a guy like that. I don't know. You see, look at this. You already, I know. Change names. Because, you're calling yourself Jubei, but clearly it says Mitsuhide. But, what do I know? Nothing wrong with that. Don't know where that is, but I mean, maybe the central region, I suppose. I don't know. Somehow I feel like most of this doesn't exactly pertain to my clan, but, we'll go through it either way. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, here we go. Okay. We're done. Please take a look at this map by selecting yes. Familiar. The tutorial is not on. It does this every time. You are the true ruler of Goshu Nito. You will be the ruler. Just, obligatory pronunciation disclaimer. Yada yada. We all believe that very firmly. Basically, what he's saying though is you can click this as your resolve. It's basically if you played, and I know I've played a lot of Paradox games. So like Europa Universalis 4. This is like your ideas and traditions, as it were. A lot of characters have unique bonuses for the characters. It's not actually based off of your clan. It's based off of your character. So if you have your successor succeed, they might not necessarily have the same resolve as you. So this is what we saw at the beginning, but we can now look at the other pages, which tell us what we'll get if we do certain things. Although we get this by default, and then there's always a downside too. So we're more likely to get special abilities in battles, which is nice. It can be, usually it's not a huge problem, but it could be a problem if nobody's offering suggestions. We'll skip those for a second. When you enter battle with more soldiers than the enemy, okay. I guess it depends on how much attack power we lose. Let's see here. When going into battle with less troops than your opponent, okay, so this is almost like they just want us to be at a disadvantage. So our attack power goes up if we have less troops. Win 3 or more battles, it's easy. Now this would be actually kind of funny if we went in with 100 less people. That doesn't matter, and then we just get a free buff. Broken units recover more slowly, but when they do, their combat power increases. One. Well, 20,000 soldiers. Okay, that might take at least a little bit. Well, we have a good foothold. It might not. When fighting in a coalition army with another clan, so that just means if you're allied with them, I believe. Some of the things in this game are a little vague and aren't clarified exactly, but I think because you could look anywhere in the manual, the tutorial, it'll say nothing about coalitions. I think this just means if you are allied and they have lent you their army. Unit combat power increases, so that's fine. So it'll be good to have at least one ally. Probably, I don't like having too many allies, but it could be good. Gain the advantage when negotiating with larger clans. Okay, that's easy. This shouldn't be too much of a big deal, but you never know. Other clans will request vassalage more often. Tribe subjugation. Execute 4 military policies. And when you lose a battle, officer loyalty greatly falls. That's kind of sucks. We'll see how good this is. This doesn't happen very often in this game. In the other previous Nobunaga's Ambitions, this would happen a lot more often. I haven't seen it too much in this game, though. So this is what we've got. When we do these things, we'll get some bonuses. We're already at the negatives, so... Alright, anyways. So let's take a look at what we got here. We got a bunch of onsens. That's not that helpful. And we actually don't have any... But we're gonna try, I think the first thing is, just blitz these two clans immediately. We're actually allied. Oh, we're allied with Mori. Okay, so we're actually allied with the Akizuki and the Mori clans. Oh, hold on. Is this some... I've noticed some alliances are permanent. No, it's just... I mean, it's 3 years, which is pretty good. Being allied with them is pretty nice. I just hope they don't come over here and steal all my stuff. Probably not going to keep this alliance or renew it. But it's good. Mori is very scary in this scenario. In fact, let me see here. So this is, like I said, if you ever played European Universalis, this is like your ledger. Essentially, this is your ledger. It's not as good, but it's close enough. So let's see. Soldiers. Actually, Mori has the most soldiers in the game. Well, okay. Well, at least we're allied with them for now. We're just going to have to outstrip them. Normally, I play the ones that start earlier, and usually Miyoshi is the top dog, but they just crumble and fall almost every single game. And I guess since we're already along that path, they've already started to decline. So, first thing we're going to do, basically, you've got a few things you can really do. I don't like this menu, but this is what we got. This is everything you can do in the game, pretty much. And really, on a turn-by-turn basis, you're only going to be using this top row for the most part, and even then, only a couple of these. So, do commerce. And basically, this is the trading system. Got different nodes. You can actually... It's a little hard to see here, so I'm going to move over. If you see these white outlines, these are the trade regions. And basically, if you control all of the nodes within a region, which you can actually check here if you look... Well, I say region. It's... In-game, it'll be location. So this is Hizen. And so all these here are in Hizen. Well, this is Chikugo and Chikuzen. So basically, if I can get, these two clans that I was planning on taking out anyways, if I take out all those two clans and what I've already got, I'll have control of every node in the Hizen trade node, as it were, and then you get a bonus. Other than that, these ones that are white exist, but I haven't expanded into them, and the blue ones were there, and I can invest into them to improve their production. It's not really worth investing right now. You get a lot more raw income by just expanding.
Understood.
Costs you money. You only have one action per turn at the moment, but you can upgrade that later. Anyways, I'm going to do a little explanation, a little tutorial. Oops, that's off the map there. Do a little explanation. Not super in depth, but I know when I'm watching something, I kind of like to know what's going on. If I haven't played it before or thinking about getting it. But anyways, and the other thing we're going to start off with is develop. This can be a little overwhelming because there's every single one of these little squares you can build something on, and then you can upgrade it basically indefinitely. So we don't have anything, so we're going to do new. My recommendation is doing trading towns as much as possible, because this is going to earn you gold, and gold essentially is your cap. Well, one, to do everything, pretty much, but also, if you think of it abstractly, it's kind of your cap on how much infantry you can maintain. So getting a high gold income means more soldiers. So I'm going to build as many of these as possible. Basically, every officer, these are my officers in the clan right now. Every officer has these 5 stats over there. Every action has a stat associated with it, so the higher their stat, the better they are. So this guy's going to take 34 days each term. or each turn is 30 days, so it's going to take 2 turns to do this no matter what. Now this guy actually has lower politics than this guy, but he has a trade zone management, which is putting him above this guy. So you have a combination of some traits that are helpful and their raw stats. Either way, just click the top one. Very simple, just, you know. Also, there is this I noticed, I learned you can, especially once you get a lot of territory, if you're like, where else can I do something? You can click that and it'll bring you over to where it's flashing and you can set it up. The next thing, fishing town. If trading towns are for money, fishing towns are for provisions, and we'll get to that. These ones I'm a little bit more picky about. So I could build them all around here. I don't know if I want to do that. Let's skip over to Reservoir. Now, reservoirs are helpful for increasing your provisions again, but also they help you against flood damages. Now, you'll see when I hover over a eligible spot, there's a yellow flashing zone. That's the effective reach. So, like in terms of boosting, like if I build one here, now this tooltip is kind of in the way, but I believe this is going to hit all 3 of these towns. So I'm just going to build one of them here. And one of them over here. This is actually really good. A lot of times, it's not this neat because you can only build these on, you'll see on the tooltip there, it says condition on a river. And a lot of times, by default, the castle distribution is not exactly conducive to just have everything together like that. So really, we're only going to need 2 to cover everything. I could build more, and it would keep increasing my harvest, but I don't think that's necessary. What is my... Let me go ahead and lock those in, but where's our capital? This one. Nobunaga. Alright, so that's good to know, because I like to keep my officers kind of pooled up around the capital, and that's important because we're going to build some stat boosting buildings. So basically for all this 5 stats, you can build a camp, and if they're just hanging out in there, then they get a boost. Now this one is right in between these 2. So if I build one here, you'll see the yellow line. It's going to affect both of these castles. Now I think leadership is the best stat, personally anyways. I think this is the best stat for castle lords. If you're going to assign someone to be the leader of a castle, I think leadership is the best stat that you want them to have a high value of. But this is it affects their morale. It affects how fast the castle will surrender when they're being sieged. Then we're going to do combat camp, which eventually, if and when I take this, it'll affect that castle too, but it's somebody else's right now. This is basically just their attack when they're in combat. Tactics, which is intelligence, that's going to affect... Well, here, you know what? Better. Cancel that there. I'm going to put the combat camp up here so I can get it in here. Because I'm doing it in order, basically. I think I like these 2 stats the most. I'm going to put that there. Then intelligence is their defense and movement speed, I think. I know it's definitely defense. It might be movement speed, too. Am I out of money? We're out of money. Okay. We're going to do that for now. Like I said, I went in the priority that I wanted. We're only making a little bit of money. Oh, the other thing you can do, not usually on a turn-by-turn basis, but occasionally, you can check if you hit recruit, you can go into any one of your castles, and this is actually, it's pretty neat. You can change from having militia and farmers, or infantry and the nebulous refugees, which is, I think, a hard word to translate. I don't know if that's inaccurate. Basically, right now, we're probably going to have all militia by default. And these don't cost us any money, but if we just have a ton of militia, we're not going to get as much harvest. And in fact, if we did this silliness, this castle would starve because we wouldn't have harvest. But mostly, I want to go in here and see if we have any infantry we can cut. No, we don't. Okay. Now I could, let's see here. Is there any? No, not really. If we had any place with a really large surplus of harvest, I might bump the militia up. But I think for now, we just maybe wait at least a season or two to bump up our harvest, and then we can get some more militia. All right. I don't think we need any diplomacy with anybody. We've already got allies. And I think that'll do it for the first turn. Just, take as long as humanly possible to take a turn, right? All right, so when you're done doing this is all paused. And when you're done setting up all your what you're going to do, expanding into trade zones and building and stuff, you basically hit this, and it'll go in real time for a term, which is 1 month. And you'll see these are queued up with the flashing blue means it's currently being built, and you can see on the tooltip the term. So a lot of these are going to take 2 turns. Some of these are going to take 1 turn, like this one. But a lot of these are going to take 2 turns to build. But anyways, we'll go ahead and do this. And we're off. The sounds of summer. And we're done. No. We're actually immediately into autumn. Now, autumn is when you get your big harvest. You actually only get provisions, well, the majority of them, in the autumn. All of your farmers and such, they all harvest their crops and you get them in the autumn. When you get the fishing towns are going to give you provisions every month, but they're not nearly as much. This is actually pretty small, but this is the beginning of the game for a small claim. If you've played the other Nobunaga's Ambitions games, this is your paddies, and the fishing towns are like your farms, essentially. Not making a lot of money. Not making any horses or muskets.
Please command me.
Okay. And you can only issue agricultural commands only 4 times a year. So right now in the autumn, we can either do a labor exemption or we can clear out more land. I don't know if I want to do either of those things. Well, I could do it here maybe. Because if you do labor exemption, it gives you a little bit more harvest. More importantly, it gives you more popularity, which I've learned is actually pretty important. But if you do that, everything else for the rest of the season is you're done. You can't do any of it. So I don't want this early because we are going to have to work on these places. And clear is not bad because you get more farmland, and you're going to need enough farmland for if you have more farmers than farmland, it just doesn't help you. The problem with this is it kills, well, not kills, but they convert your refugees into farmers, and I don't, these are basically soldiers, essentially. I guess you could say they're also potential farmers as well, but more importantly, you need these in order to get infantry instead of just militia, and I don't want to cripple myself by not having those available, because those are a little bit random to get. You kind of have to hope that they decide to live in your area. But this place has 5,000 refugees, which right now is probably more than we're ever going to need, and there's not that much surplus. So we're going to get a ton of this. So I'm going to clear this area. It lowers also your irrigation, which means you're more likely to get flooded, but that's nothing. So we're just going to clear that, and I think everything else will wait until later on in the season to improve. Once again, go into trade. Actually, I kind of hate this, actually. So if we're allied, I think you automatically get a trade agreement, and so that means this clan's going to be able to start muscling into our trade zone, but, we'll fix that later. All right, so for now, like I said, we're just going to expand in our own territory as much as possible, and then we can think about what we're doing after that. I think we actually might just immediately try to murder this clan. They're not allied with anybody. Well, to protect my clan, I may have no choice but to join us. So it sounds like they might become our vassal. I could just go in there and invade them, but I'm kind of curious. All right, you know what? Just because I don't think I've done this very often, let's go max. I kind of don't like. I wish it would just go, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of nice. It'll auto stop depending on what you want. But we're gonna go max opinion because we'll probably need it. Once again, this guy's actually great for this. 18 increase, good. It's really expensive for this stage of the game. But we're going to do it because I am really curious to see if I can just get this guy to join me peacefully. I doubt these people will ever join me. On that note, well, let's not be hate. Well, let me see. Arima. 3,000. And we don't even have like a huge advantage over them. So I'm going to wait just a teensy bit. And on that note, because it takes some time, if you make any adjustments to your soldier count at all, it takes a while for that to filter out. Let's up our values a little bit. I mean, we're supposed to be, aggro. Apparently, we're supposed to just be attacking everybody. Okay, well, let's see. October. So far, everything is in October. Still good on our harvest. So probably just set these up to the maximum we can get for October and not go below that.
Understood.
Seems to be kind of consistent. As soon as you go into November, starts to dip.
Understood.
All right. Not much. Maybe like an extra. I wasn't really counting. Maybe an extra 1,000 troops. This stage of the game might be helpful. We're not going to develop anymore. Mostly because we don't have any money. I mentioned at the very beginning we have these purple symbols are just built-in features of the land. Onsens don't do a whole heaping lot. They just make it so if any of your officers get sick, they recover more quickly. But there might be. Okay, well, we'll put that on hold for a second. So now we're going to do our council. You only get these a couple times a year as well. And this is basically how you get, they call them policies, but, they're your tech tree. So basically picks a random selection of 6 officers, and they're going to give you what they think we should be doing. And you'll see when I hover over it, underneath their portrait in the center here. So this one's going to give me 14 agricultural points and 8 military points. And basically, you can see the preview here as well, what they're going to give you. So it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it could be 1 of each category. And the value is just dependent on their stats as well. If they have higher stats, they're more likely to give you more political points. Now, some of these, we actually don't. I wish we had one. Sometimes underneath in this section, you'll get temporary effects until the next council, like decreased investment costs for like the commercial side, or unit morale up. But nobody's doing that right now. So what we're going to do, and you can actually go here and check the tech tree if you wanted to plan this out. Actually start off with, this is different actually, because we started off a little further in the timeline. If you start at the very beginning as possible, you only really get the first 4 here. Because there's more than this. The tech tree is actually bigger than this. It's a lot bigger than this, but you have to uncover them. So let's just, I want to just take whatever has the highest. So we'll take this, that.
That's what we're going with.
That's fine. It's not a huge deal right now. So success on negotiations. I mean, might as well. This branch, and it's going to go up this way. The supply consumption or provision consumption down is very important, especially early on. Later on, let's do. Go this direction for now. I don't know how important it is for other people to join us. So we're done there, and then basically that's it, And you basically keep doing this. That's almost everything. And in a basic sense, there's a lot more to it. we're gonna expand here. All right, so we're in October, and you can see on the tooltip here over the castles, all of these have been the troop changes that have already filled up. So, kind of like I kind of feel like I want to be aggressive here and just try to take these out before somebody else does. Because if I sit around, somebody else is just going to scoop this stuff up. So let's try it. This is good too. They have a trading port here, which there's not that many of, and that's pretty important. And basically, these are kind of junk, but this is a nice area, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, yeah. Other than, like I said, there's these purple ones and these like teal colored fixtures. And those, you can't build them; they just are there based off of the world, and they're not terribly important. Most of them are in your resolve, depending on your daimyo. Some of them will be like every onsen you get a bonus. I don't know if that even exists, but usually that's what it's going to be. But other than that, it just helps sick officers get better faster, so not very helpful. Same thing like the churches here. I don't remember I don't think they really do anything except for basically this clan here gets a lot of bonuses for having churches. The shrines and temples are the same thing essentially, and they give you a defensive bonus if you happen to fight. Yeah. But the teal icons are actually more important gameplay wise, because like for example, we have this port here, and well, this fishing area. That's the reason why I could build the fishing villages before, so because it needs to be near one of those. They have one here, but like I said, there's a trading port here, and this is actually going to give us income of gold, I believe, but not 100. I know for sure though this gives us muskets every turn. It might give us money as well. Besides that, there's also here. That's another trading port. Like for example, we've got gold here. Horses. I'm trying to find a commercial port, but like I said, they're not. Oh, here we go. There's commercial ports. I think these are the ones you can basically go in here to trade. You can buy provisions, horses, muskets, or sell your provisions. This is your food. When you have the more commercial ports you have, the better your trading becomes. Like I said, there's a few things scattered out. Like this is a regular like iron mine. This is a silver mine. Whatever. It is what it is. You can't really you can't build them or anything. So if you happen to get them, you get them. Let's just try attacking this clan here. Let's see here, you're not allied with anybody. Not that it matters. Allies aren't super detrimental when you're attacking somebody. So it gives a good chance to demonstrate war and everything too. Okay.
I'll crush you with this strength.
Well, yeah, okay. So my allies are joining me. This is okay. So by default, the one thing that's nice about having allies of your own is they will give you some stuff, like no matter what, pretty much. If they join you, they're going to give you stuff. But the other thing that they're going to do is you can then, once you're in war and they've joined you, you can click reinforcements and select which clan. So like say, for example, them, I could, out of 10, pick castles to basically borrow their troops. Now I'm not going to do it because I don't think this is going to be worth it, I bet. But like, for example, this one's worth 10 points. This would be everything. So click that one. I would basically get access to those 1,500 troops there. But I'd have to give them some food, which not only am I giving them food, but when you rent them out like this, which is essentially what you're doing, you also have to pay for their provisions as well. So this is, and I don't think I need it. So I'm not going to do it, but I could, that's basically how that would work. And the same thing, I could go over to Mori and be like, hey, give me all these, which would honestly be a much better deal because I'm getting 8,400 troops for like the same thing. Because they're much more willing, like they're like, this is like a quarter of our forces, whereas if I took this is like 50% of their troops. They're a little bit more willing. But I don't think I need to do that at all. So in this game, compared to the previous Nobunaga's Ambition, it's kind of similar, but not exact. Because before, you could kind of click on a castle, deploy it, and send it off, which you can do, but it's a lot more finicky and also not really a good idea. Because the way combat works in this, all of your units combine now into a giant army, so there's really not much point in sending an individual castle, or the troops from an individual castle, because they're just going to get crushed. So before I do that, though, you could click that and hit deploy, but usually what I do is I go here and I hit march. And from here, you basically select where you want them to go, and you'll see there it's selecting in orange the castles that it's going to deploy troops from. As a preview, you can kind of alter this a bit. So let's see here. We're going to want to go to the first castle here. So I click that, just to lock it in for a second. It's going to give you a little preview here. It's going to take us 11 days to get here. We're going to have 4,100 troops. He's going to have 2,700. There's limits on different tiles. So like where you see here, limit 6,300. So this is actually really big. When you get large armies, you're going to get choke pointed down severely. In this point, it doesn't matter. The limit is way over what we both have, and even if there was a small limit like 6,300, it still wouldn't affect us because we're so tiny. This symbol means that he's going to be here first and be defending, so he'll have the defensive camps. But this is actually just a preview. This could actually not it probably will happen. Like this is saying we're going to end up fighting here, but it might not happen, especially if I change orders mid-March. I'm going to go here. You can change the destination now from there if you want. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually click on this and add this in. I'm going to skip that for now. So I'm going to add that in. I don't know why it didn't do. I guess it felt like we didn't need it. Just trying to save provisions, I guess. But we're going to send him in there just to hedge our bets. But you can go here to form unit. Now this is going to be every unit from these 5 castles we have here. So one from each. And from here, we can change their amount of troops deployed. So like they're actually not doing a full deployment. And I'll get into that. I have mentioned provisions several times, but there's a reason why the game is suggesting this, and it's about provisions. And what I don't understand is why they didn't give us any guns or horses. Now they gave this guy, you'll see this icon here, he's equipped with cavalry. But I have a lot more in reserve. Pursuit, that might be good. So we're going to give you cavalry. And basically all this does, and our situation, a lot of people have resolve effects. Remember, for each daimyo, a lot of people have resolve effects that affect what happens when you equip them with certain things. A lot of them will say if you have cavalry equipped, it'll up your attack. Right now, we're not actually doing that. Really, all this is going to do is just give us this extra tactic, which is a special move in battle, essentially. But the reason why you're going to want to do this anyways is because typically activating those special tactics are going to be better than just letting them sit there on the ground. So we're going to give him cavalry, and we're going to give this guy some muskets, and then these two are just going to have nothing. Now, when you do this, they still have spearmen. As far as I understand, this is just a straight upgrade, so there's no reason not to. And I'm pretty sure once you return your units back to base, you get they put their stuff back in the stockpile. So I'm gonna do that. You can also click these, but like I said, you can do it manually like that. Now, like I said, the reason why they suggested not probably deploying this castle at all and the unit counts aren't maxed out, 2 things. One, I think they want to leave a few troops behind at the castle to defend them at least a little bit. And 2, the more troops you have, the faster you use your provisions, right? Right now it's saying this is going to cost us about 2,500 per month. You run out of provisions, which is your food that you harvest every autumn. basically your people desert you, which basically means they just leave. So your troop count is going to plummet. And also with the added horribleness of if you happen to get into a battle while you're at 0 provisions, your morale just sucks. Like your people will like run away like really fast. So it's bad. But we're fine. We have a lot. This will give us, several months to clean this up, and it shouldn't take so long. So we're going to deploy. And it's taken forever, but I kind of want to explain just so you know what's going on. So we do that. Let me make sure we did our commercial actions. We don't have enough money to do a whole heaping lot and develop. Well, let me actually look. Mostly because do I want to do fishing towns? Maybe like one. Let's see here. One. Got 3 slots available for this city. Probably in the early game, I think this might be a good idea. I might replace these later, but I think for now, getting as many provisions, I think is going to be a good thing. We're out of money, but I mean, we don't need money. We're all peasant militias right now. All right, and so this is why you'll see they're queued up. They're going to gather here first, and then head out to the actual location. And you'll see now why this is paused. And I say this is real time because things will play out here on the fly, as it were. All right, so let's unpause. Also, you can see here an overview of the war. These my allies joined me here. He doesn't have anyone, and our aggression, which is basically how much morale you have in combat and how fast your castles will surrender when being sieged. If your aggression's real low, you're going to find it hard to win battles, and your castles are going to surrender really quickly. So yeah, and you get this by winning battles, or conversely you lose it by losing battles, and there's a lot of different techs and things that can affect how much you get this. All right, so let me pause. So we gathered here and we're moving out. But like I said, I can actually click this now that they've gathered and coalesced. So this is an army. It's basically all those individual units and have coalesced into one big thing. I can actually go here and look at the unit information again and see all the constituent armies, or units, I guess, into the overall army. I don't do this a whole lot, but you can do that. But more importantly, I can take this and I can click march again on that unit and just change where they're going to go. So now that they've grouped up into an army, now I can just control this as you might expect and just kind of tell them where to go. But I want them to go here, so we'll let them go do that. So every time 2 forces meet, you're going to get this. And basically, you're either going to get, we can't win, sorry, or it's closely matched, we're not really sure, or victory is assured. Basically, if you hit this, it auto-resolves. Right now, if I did this, I would win because it's telling me we will win. If it's if it says, it's not certain, I might win, I might not. I'm going to do this one, though, because 1, it'd be nice to show it off, but 2, early on in the game, you kind of want to maybe limit the amount of casualties you take. Plus, I kind of want to see how these guys perform. Although, apparently, my resolves, I have more troops than them, so my attack power is going to go down. But, okay. Alright, so... well, we're going to get more suggestions, though. So from here, you get a little breakdown. This is the main unit from each side, and then there's other units. Now, you'll see... it kind of flashes by, so it's a little annoying, but you'll see a letter. This is just an aggregation of how they have rated your combat stats and how effective they are in combat. So we're basically, by and large, better than them in terms of fighters. They only have C's and B's. My leader and my head officer here, essentially, we're both B rank at the moment, which is still not great. But, our quality is much better than them. There's also, you can do, it's actually pretty neat in this, is you can get a plan, which is, I'll go here, this is, change positioning essentially is what plan you want to do. And that basically determines your initial setup. and a few other things. But I can do a lot of these are pretty common. You know, full charge, no plan, and this is just, you know, whatever. Rush main camp, and oop, not that one. But you'll see also, main force doesn't really mean anything. That just lets you know which one's the main force, which it does matter, but not for this. But certain planes will give you these. This is assaulter, whereas this one, decoy. When you do these, depending on which one you do, so there's none here because you have no plan. These will get certain benefits when you enact this plan. So assaulters here basically get a bonus if you, and you only get it if you pick Phantom. Is they're better at ambushing people. Basically, if you ambush somebody with these units, they get a big attack bonus, whereas these are just normal. You can also change out which units are going to be the ambushers. So, like, say I wanted these guns to ambush, I could click this, swap it over here. I could actually, I didn't even realize, I just realized this now. There's empty slots here, so I could change the actual just where they're going to be. Actually, learning. I knew you could swap out, like, you know, unit for unit. I did not know you could change just where they... This is actually pretty helpful. Okay, well, what we're going to do, though, we have more troops than them, right? And we need to attack, because basically, if you have the outposts as the defender, these are going to bump this up in favor of them. If this bar ever goes one way or another, that side wins. So if it fills up with blue, then I win. If it fills up with red, then the other side wins. And that will basically happen when things happen in the battle. If they flank me or ambush me, it goes in favor of them. Every, like, 2 turns, these just activate and give them more. So if I just sit here, they're going to win eventually. Conversely, if I was on defense, same thing. Now I can go and march my troops over here and just kill them. As soon as I touch them, they die, essentially. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a full charge, because my troops are just better than them on average. We have more troops, and when you do charge, I can't control my units anymore, but they get a huge attack buff. So I'm pretty sure if I do this, I will actually just completely crush them. I kind of want to do no plan so I can demonstrate how the combat system works, but I'll do full charge. And if they're still alive after 5 turns, then I can take control again. Because after 5 turns, it just becomes a normal plan. We're going to do full charge and just execute this. I mean, I guess we're just going to go destroy this guy.
Let's get started.
And then once we unpause, it will show the terrain. You can actually see, it's a little hard to tell, to be honest, but this is our units, of course, but these little dots mean there's a forest. I have to zoom in to get more of the topography. I think there's a slight valley here. I think this is a road. You see this is a hill. It does actually matter. It doesn't really explain what anything does, but forests will slow you down, I believe, and they limit your vision radius, I believe. Same thing with mountains, you can't see over them. You'll see if I hover over them, I can't control them right now, but if I could, right now I could issue commands if I could control them. The yellow circle is about how far they can move. It's not one exact, I would say. The cone is their vision cone, and this guy has guns, so these lines is their line of fire. You'll see how there must be a slight hill here, so they can't shoot over the hill because it's just a straight line. So if there was a mountain in the way, it'd be even worse. And that's the main thing. Main thing for verticality in mountains is mostly blocking your vision and gunfire. But you'll see over on the left here. So this is our combat stats. You have attack, defense, right now they're unorderable. This symbol means attack. This is your morale. This is your defense. So yeah, when we do full charge, we do get less defense. And this is movement speed. Now, you might not know if you've never seen this, but see, our attack right now is ridiculous. You get a huge buff for doing full charge. It says there's only 1 up, but it's pretty big, and our defense is really low. Because example, if you click this, you can go to the other forces. So this is the enemy forces. So look at their stats. Nothing is this is nothing. Nobody's higher than 60. Like all of our troops have like 4 or 5 times the amount of attack they have. So, anywho, let's just go. So yeah, after 5 turns, we can issue normal commands. This is also weather. It's sunny. Basically the only thing that I know that this affects, because there's sunny, cloudy, and rainy, I believe. If it's rainy, you can't use guns. I don't know what cloudy does anything, or maybe if sunny does anything. Maybe it affects morale. I don't know. There's nowhere in the game that tells you anything about that. So,
Follow me.
all right. So yep, they just go. Like I said, you can see the terrain a little bit better when that's going on. So we don't actually know where they are right now. Occasionally you get scout reports that kind of tell you where they might have moved, maybe, but we don't actually see. We're right there, but we're in the forest, so we can't see shit. We can't see anything. All right. Well, there they are, just like our scouts predicted. So raid means that they basically stuck up. I don't really know the exact mechanics of what determines whether you're ambushed or not, but anyway, so you'll see this is going to increase their favorability. I'm not really concerned, especially once all these units get and so yeah, we just ambushed. I'm not really sure. I know, it's from flanking and if they don't see you, but this very specifics I'm not 100%. And now we're see it's going to go back in our favor, and especially once we destroy them and they start routing. You can see the numbers popping up as the losses. Normally, if it was closer, I would be going after these, but I think we can just destroy them before they matter too much. So we just ambush them. Yeah, see, look, this one's already routed. This white bar here under all our portraits, that's our morale. We've already crushed that unit. This one's about to rout. We're getting pincered here because they're surrounding us, and I can't control him, but I kind of don't care. We have such an advantage. Now, all of this is bad when it happens to regular units. Essentially, you have your main unit on either side. This unit's not doing so great. You have your main unit on either side, which is this guy for me. And you can see our clan symbol buried in there. And this is their main unit. And you can see their clan logo there. Basically, every effect is amplified for this. So if your lead unit gets routed, this will start to go very heavily in your favor. Now, that's if it's routed. If I actually wipe this whole unit out, this number here, 656, if this hits to 0, which it won't, if this goes to 0 on either side, that force automatically loses. And doesn't matter if you have one person left, you will win. But either way, even if you don't clear them out, having them rout affects your overall favorability quite heavily, which they are about to break. So this should just start just really skyrocketing. See, the whole thing is full. Battle is completely in our favor, and we win. Very easy, but I kind of wanted to at least show what it looked like. So then we get some aggression adjustments. He lost a bunch of aggression, we gained some. He lost this many troops. Now, the thing is, as far as I understand, his whole army is going to get disbanded, but these are actually dead. So these take longer to repopulate. And to use them again, essentially. Whereas the other 1,000 soldiers that just get disbanded are going to be more readily available to redeploy, at least somewhat sooner. We lost a little bit. Our aggression is soaring. Okay. So now we're at the castle. This little cross swords indication means we're sieging it. So let's not do that. There's 2 options. You can either siege it down, and this white circle will go down, and you'll just win. Or I can click this and storm it, and basically we just punch the castle, and we lose troops until there's no one left, essentially. And that's a lot faster, but you lose troops. Now that's basically what you want to do for your provisions, is you lose... if you're sitting there sieging, you're constantly losing provisions. Storming is almost always faster. Sometimes they'll surrender early, but that's just a random chance. But what the game doesn't tell you, and you might find useful to know in consideration if you do play this game, if you're sieging, if you just sit here, all the stuff around it, all the buildings, all the development buildings that the enemy has built, you will destroy them. You will destroy all this stuff if you siege it. If you storm it, I think there's a small chance you might destroy some of it, but I don't think so. Or maybe a little bit, but not basically, if you siege this, I'm going to destroy all this. So if I storm it, and this is more relevant later on, because they're just starting out as well. If they've really developed this for me, I'm kind of doing myself a disservice by sieging it. If I storm it, I get to keep all their stuff already upgraded and everything, and I won't have to rebuild it, spend the time and money to do it. I don't think that matters right now, but I'm not sure if I want to spend the supplies or soldiers. I think I'm just going to storm it and see how it happens. We're going to lower the speed and see what the casualty ratio is like. Okay, so yeah, we're good. So it'll get their health, and then the garrison. Now, the downside with this is, besides losing troops, you also are going to have to spend money to repair the castle, but I think it's a lot cheaper to just repair the castle than to rebuild every single structure, which, frankly, there's not a whole lot of now, but... No. So then we just do this, move them on to the next one. Up the speed back up again. We'll siege this one. I kind of just wanted to demonstrate that. So end of the turn, he's saying his stats have improved. We can get a trade agreement with the clan up in the top left. We don't need to do that. Now, he said, well, I guess there's actually a lot more of them, and it just doesn't tell us that, if they're maybe not that important. But you'll see, he'll say they've grown through training. We'll skip this. Basically what that's saying is, from these buildings I built earlier, the leader camp and the combat camps and stuff, basically while they're here, I mean, they're technically here, but they're stationed here. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the people I left behind. I'm not sure. But either way, those people are getting their stats buffed. So I like to have, since I'm going to pool most of my spare officers in one area, I like to get all the stat boosting buildings around here. That way, while they're just hanging out, doing whatever, they can at least get their stats boosted. All right, keep expanding. Now that we've taken this castle, this is our territory. We have a new area to expand to. Kind of lined up nicely because we didn't have anywhere else to expand to at the moment. We don't have a whole heaping lot to do. We can't do agriculture this time of year. We're going to save our money for now. We don't need to do any troop adjustments. How's our goodwill? 25. Yeah, this is going to be. So, yeah, not a whole lot. Like, I mean, I guess I could go over these other options, I suppose. This is the same stuff that we have here, the recruit. This is declare war in March. This is goodwill. Basically only need goodwill in order to do negotiations. Let me hit that real quick. Basically all your diplomacy options. These are agreements. These are more of situations you can set up. So if you do commerce, then you can just trade. That's it. You're not allies or anything, but you can trade with each other. Or not really trade with each other, but you can do the commerce and expand into their territory. Actually, you can trade, I believe, as well. Yeah, so if you do that, you can expand into their territory and you can request goods, but they're going to want something in return. Or maybe this might just because they're in a war with us right now, but either way. Alliance, you know, if you're an alliance, they're much, much more likely to join you in a war. I don't think they're 100% obligated to do it, but they're more likely to join you in a war if you're allied. But that's a temporary thing. It's either 6, 12, or 24 months. A marriage alliance essentially makes it permanent unless you, at least in terms of the AI, you can just ignore it, but everyone's going to hate you. And, or if you expel or kill the officer that's married, either way, it's a more permanent alliance. There's no time limit, but it can be broken. Vassalage basically makes them into a forced ally, and eventually you can integrate them into your realm. It doesn't. I've noticed a lot of clans in this game don't. They're just hard coded to not allow you to do it to them. I think that's mostly like the major clans. I could be wrong on that, but it seems like that. Submit is the reverse. I could actually become a vassal of somebody else. Order dissolve is if somebody has a relationship, say they're trading or allied, or let's say they're allied with somebody, I could tell them to be, hey, don't be allied. Goods, this is if you want to request stuff and you're going to have to trade for that. Like if I ask for provisions, they're probably going to ask me for money or horses or something. This is an important one. If you want to do a peace, so I could actually talk to these people and ask for peace, they will probably accept, but we're not interested. You can also do things like we could ask them for a treasure, which is just an item that boosts officer loyalty. They're also useful for as trading chips. If you don't really care about officer loyalty, sometimes when you try to trade, they'll ask you for a treasure instead, which is, depending on how you value this, it might be a good idea, or how much you really, especially like if you're trying to get provisions. Raise, you can ask them to destroy one of their castles. I've never done this. You can ask them to remove a monopoly in the commerce. Like I said, I haven't done too many of these. You can also grant them a title. You need to be in a position to grant titles, and I believe the only way you are in a position to do that is if you become shogun, I think. Because first of all, you need to have a title to give away, and then I think you need to be shogun in order to give it to somebody. I could be either way, that's how it works. So that's negotiate. Reinforcements we went over. Return. Basically, we can, if we rented out troops, we can give them their stuff back. Dissolve. So say I didn't want to be allies with them anymore, I could end it early, and then they would hate us. These are basically castle management. We can upgrade the castle to make it more resilient. It's not in the old games. You could upgrade a lot of things about your castle. This just makes it more defensible. It just upgrade. It's harder to siege. Repair. You build a new castle or deconstruct it. We can appoint a lord to a castle or move our personnel around, or the officers. We can employ Ronin if there are any. There aren't. We can expel people from the clan, and we can give treasures to increase loyalty. We can arrange marriages. We can retire, or we can delegate, which is basically if you don't want to do any of this, you can just let the AI do it. I would recommend, especially if you're starting out, you might want to delegate development because it's a little bit, much. But I guess you don't have to. It's kind of neat doing it. But out of all of these, a lot of these aren't that hard to do on your own. The only one on your own that might be a little bit of a hassle is development, because believe me, especially once you expand, there are a ton of places to build, and you can upgrade them almost forever. So, anywho, let's just continue on taking these people out. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Oh, why don't you just not take us out? They're not even going to give me anything. I can't really change this, so they're basically just trying to give up, but why would I let you off the hook? Oh, no thank you. Assuming, I don't know, sometimes they'll say the clan leader or the clan itself. I think maybe that might be this clan down here he's attacking. Clear on Sagara. Oh, are you kidding me? 2 peace offers in 1 turn? Calm down. So, okay, yeah. So refugees, what I mentioned before, that become your infantry, when there's a fight, they go away for a bit, and then after a little tiny bit, they come back. Or at least most of them. Right, let me pause. So, yeah. So, Shimatsu is attacking Sagara here. It had to be one of these two, probably. Like I said, if I just wait long enough, these other clans are going to scoop this stuff up. So this can get a little annoying. It's sometimes helpful. I don't begrudge it, but you will get yanked away from what you're doing to hear about events like people declaring war and prominent battles, because it is kind of relevant to me whether or not, because this clan is going to be a problem eventually. So it's going to let me know who wins. So yeah, they won, of course. Our stats going up. So this is the Japanese calendar year at the time when they were using their own. Okay, so yeah, I don't know exactly the criteria for this. It happens a lot more in the early game than later on, but occasionally you'll just get a treasure. They'll just come up and give you something. So we have a grade 9, which is pretty bad, but the lower the grade, the better. From Europe, a telescope.
I'm going to report.
It says they first discovered us in 1613 there. I think it's what it said, but, you know, it's a little,
Please command me.
Yes, it's a little early for that, so there might be, you know, a little bit of a discrepancy there. All right, anywho, so commerce. So right now we can't expand anymore in our own territory, but we have this trade agreement with our neighbor here because we're allied. So I can just start going into their node, and you'll see right now they're here. They have full control of it, but I can expand into their territory and just kind of leech money from them. That's why trade agreements are a double-edged sword. I have the option now of expanding here. Great, because expanding is almost always more worthwhile than investing in terms of raw income at the beginning. Because look, I can invest here. It's not even going to give me anything yet. So, you know, this is still costing me money. It's good in the long run, but for now, if I actually want to up my turn-to-turn income, this is much more efficient. I'm just going to expand here, and hopefully I can lock down this area before they even think about expanding over to me. So we've almost got this castle. We should do our agriculture, though. So it'll highlight what the AI recommends you do. So it says, I think we should do fertilizer here. Now the thing is, with some of these other commands, at the beginning you only have a limited amount of what you can do. So we'll only have one fertilizer, but you know, we only need that in winter, but we only have one. So we basically have to pick which castle we do. And frankly, I think the AI it determined that this is what's going to give me the biggest harvest increase for this castle. Right now, I'm not too worried which castle gets buffed because all of them need it. So we're going to give the biggest increase here. Which one was it? This place here has a bunch of refugees. I could clear this again. I think I will. It's still going to hurt the irrigation, but we have so many refugees, and look at all that farmland increase.
I understand.
Okay. Continue on. Oh. Also, when certain do get their resolves unlocked or something, or use a special tactic, they show you. Alright, so we've got that one. The game, when you capture a castle, the game will pause, which is pretty handy, so you can issue up another order without wasting time. And we'll just march over here, take them out. They don't have any troops, pretty much.
You're not getting away.
Total unity. So they're probably, I don't know who they're attacking. But they're attacking Yamana. I'm going to join them just because if I don't join them, so I could either pick a side or don't pick sides. If I don't pick a side, he's going to be upset with me especially because we're allied. He expects me to join him. He's already got all these people. These guys are basically nobody. They're to the northeast of them, I believe. And really, it doesn't actually hurt us. We're not going to be in the war, and he's probably not going to request anything from us. So there's really no reason not to. Oop, pause. Now, in this one, I do kind of want to keep what he's built. So I'm going to siege this down, especially because he doesn't have a whole lot. Oh, well, I hope this works, because he's got 40... The castle has 4,500 strength. Let me see. We should be 110 to 250. We should be... It's going to be a little close, but I'm going to do that just to try to preserve what he's built here.
I'm going to report.
Yeah, I'm going to.
This is from
I have the English voices on. Some of them are pretty silly. I kind of like them because I don't mind most of them, and some of them are kind of funny.
Let's talk.
Not these. Believe me, there's mostly the ones in combat are pretty funny. Maybe let's even this out.
To me.
Early on, getting rhetoric is pretty good because it buffs up your potential to get more points.
That's what we're going with.
That's my opinion on the situation. So I'm going to get as many rhetoric points other than the commerce one there as possible.
And with that, this council is over.
Because you'll see rhetoric over here. So basically improves your chance to get more points, which basically is an investment for the future. So good idea, chance. There's a chance at the council that they're going to glow in gold, and they're basically going to give you bonus points and better effects. So we're going to implement that. We're just going to get everything we can. Max farmland up. Usually not too terribly relevant, but you know. Siege, go faster, or infantry recruit speed. So we're going to get all of it eventually. Let me actually, I didn't actually notice. So if you go to the ledger and hit view, well, we don't have any. Okay. I wasn't sure if we got any effects from the council or not. So I guess we didn't still. Our people still kind of suck. All right, trade. So we've taken this area out, so we can expand over here first. Not be silly. That's not going to leave 4 gold on the table, or whatever currency. It's not necessarily gold. It could be silver. We're also losing a ton of money from this diplomacy with this person. I'm really... I hope they're willing to submit to me, or else it's going to be a huge waste of time and effort. Well, they refuse it, but that's actually the tooltip at the bottom is saying. But that it would say something else if they would never submit to us. Like, for example, with them, I'm pretty sure I've seen... Or no, oh, sorry, not submission. I meant to say vassal. Yeah, not enough of a difference in power to make them a vassal. Whereas with them, it's going to say they refuse to become vassals to another clan. So when it says that, they'll never become a vassal. So I can actually make these guys into a vassal eventually. I just have to become more powerful. So what about you? Yeah, I need to become more powerful. Well, we'll get there. I can hopefully, once I take these guys out, maybe I'll just take these guys out as well. I don't know. We'll see. All right, now that we've did commerce, I think that's really all we need to do right now. Check our resolve. 20,000. Win 3 or more battles. Well, we got 1. That won't take very long to do. 3 or more rhetoric policies. We're getting. Yeah. Well, also we need to do that too. So we need military and rhetoric to get these bonuses. This might. Yeah. There we go. This might help us in that regard. This is they request it more often, but maybe that just means they're more likely to accept it as well. All right. So we just unpause. We're gonna punch this castle some more until they submit. Okay, that's right. We have to unpause it to get that effect unlocked. So we got the three rhetoric policies. Enemy is charged. Okay, well, victory is assured. Let's auto-resolve that. Yeah, probably could have taken less losses if we took control ourselves, but So that's 2 battles out of 3. Gain the advantage when negotiating with larger clans. Might be helpful if, well, down the line maybe, and if Mori ever decides it doesn't like us anymore, maybe the Shimatsu, maybe, I don't know, Orocho. Which, kind of a precarious situation to be fair. Did they? Am I blind? They always have this? it's okay. We can still sail across here to get to them, but with like a land connection. All right. Well, now that they charged out, the castle only has like 1,000 health, and that's less than what we have in troops.
Cries of victory and make me feel it.
Doo-doo-doo. All right, so if you are the one to deal the finishing blow to a clan, you can basically choose to employ or kill everyone in the clan. Now, this happens in battles and individual sieges, but it's kind of random on whether or not you actually catch them. But if you finish them off, if you eliminate them, then you get everybody and you can pick. Now, here's the thing. You might think I need everybody I can get, which is kind of true. But I kind of don't like having some of these really garbage officers just clogging up my territory. So we're going to definitely... Honestly, this clan's pretty bad. They don't really have... They're minor. They don't have very many good officers, but I'll take those. Don't want these two. I'm a little bit undecided if I want to bother with this guy. Well, let me see here. We got 3 castles. We're gonna have at least 3 people to replace them. It's an early game. I'll make an exception. I don't want to bother with these guys. Now we could kill them, but I've found it's usually not a good idea because I've employed maybe some of their relatives. I don't know. I think I might have one of his relatives. If I kill him, all the other relatives of him in my clan are going to hate me. So just besides, they're also the main reason you want to kill an officer is, or there's 2 things. One, you take their treasure if they have one, or take your treasure. But gosh, yeah. But the other thing really is mostly if you're in a war that you're not going to eliminate them. Probably if you're probably just doing a intermediary war before you finish eliminating them. And you find a really good officer that won't be recruited by you because a lot of the times they'll be too loyal. If they're too loyal to join you, you might kill a really good officer so they don't go back and help the enemy later. But these guys are so crap, I don't care if they go join somebody else. In fact, it's almost a hindrance to them if they end up leading one of their armies. They'll be so bad. All right, so now that we're done with that, click on this unit and send them home.
Let's head home.
Don't want to spend any provisions when we don't need to. Now we can't really do anything right now because you have limited options when you're in the real time, or the action phase. You can really just declare war, move your units or deploy more units, and do some negotiation type actions. So we're just gonna have to let the turn in. I think this yellow symbol means that troops are either they're replenishing from casualties and such, or they have fled. Right, so they're fighting in. Actually, this time, this clan has a numerical advantage. He won that first battle, but he didn't take. I guess he didn't feel confident enough to start sieging one. So he won. One thing, it's kind of a good thing, although it can be frustrating. Or a 1. It can be frustrating for yourself, but I think overall it's a good thing for the game. I'm gonna read any of this. Okay, so he's letting me know, and I could check this myself. He's just letting me know that this clan has designs to control this whole area, so eventually we're gonna come to blows with them. I already knew that. Oops, don't want to bump the mic here. But one of the good things about this game, I think is actually good in the long run, is a small clan like this can actually be surprisingly effective against a much larger opponent. And that's because, like I mentioned earlier, let's go to military. In these provinces, there's a unit limit. Now that didn't matter there. They just didn't have a whole heaping lot of people. Well, there's unit limits. And in fact, well, that's a fortress. There's a building. Let me show you. There's a building here, the bulwark, that reduces the maximum amount of soldiers on each side. So if I am planning on not having a whole lot of troops anyways, I could actually say build a bulwark here. And any fight that happens within this yellow radius will reduce the maximum. It'll introduce a unit limit on top of what's already there by an additional 25% plus 5% per level that I upgrade this building. So imagine if, say, this clan here, Otomo, Otomo? I don't. Anyway, they have many more troops than I have. And I could say build a bulwark around here, because this is where they would attack me from around here probably. And it would try to nullify their advantage, because it's going to hurt me too. But let's say if the cap is at 20,000 troops and I bring 6,000, I'm already below the cap. If they're bringing 30,000, which is not true. Let's lower the cap. Let's say the cap is 10,000, and they bring 15,000 troops over. One, it's going to cap them at 10 to begin with. Well, let's say I reduce that cap down to 8,000. Now they're going to be reduced even further. So you can basically choke point large forces to give you a fighting chance, even if you have less overall troops in your entire country. As long as you get them in that advantageous location, which is going to part of the strategy in picking your fights here. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but at least you have a chance. All right, next turn. Ooh, this is a good one. Yeah, this is where that port is. So we definitely want to expand there. Not only is it worth a ton of money, but then we're also going to start getting these muskets per turn. But as I was saying before, I believe this red is not fully explained, but I believe this means that there's troops that have died or are still returning, because when you disband your army, it takes a while for them to return to their bases and stuff. Basically, that means that number is going to go up. It's capped right now, so like it's at it's supposed to be going up to 695, but it's going to take a bit for it to get there. So we have new castles. We need to appoint lords to them. So this is going to be the best one, I'm sure. Now, like I said, I like to sort by leadership and just assign high leadership people to my castles. That's some... they'll get over it, I'm sure. I kind of want to leave this guy... so, they're here with me. I want to leave them as my adjutants for now, so I'm going to actually skip... Or not. Actually, well, you know what? I want to leave, well, at least him. I want to leave him right now with me, so that he'll fight with me as a combination. Good enough. I'm usually not terribly picky with who I put in charge. I just noticed something. No. Never mind. Disregard.
Understood.
Absolutely nothing. I'm not even going to tell you what I noticed. I don't know, that guy... Oops. No. We're losing control here. Arcana. Oh. He's not even with me. I'm going to move him in a minute. Either way,
Understood.
Yeah. We're going to actually give this one turn for it to kind of sort out. Let me see. Repair? Well, I'll leave that. Because see, auto-repair slowly over time. I'm not too worried about that for now, because it's expensive. And we don't have a lot of money. But we're going to get more money, especially from this, and we expand out here. Especially if we get everything here. Alright, let's end the turn. So, soldiers armed. I believe that's saying that the recruitment sliders have finished adjusting.
Allow me to report. Last month's results.
Also start getting a lot more money once we're done improving relations with these guys. Which will be one more turn.
Understood.
Okay, we'll expand there. We have some... Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna take mostly what the AI recommends. 960. thing is, now that's the raw harvest in terms of what you're going to get at the end in autumn. But I also like to consider the individual castles harvest, because the individual castles harvest depends on how many militia you can levy from that specific base. So I kind of almost want to just focus on our capital, even though this will give us more overall for when we harvest. This will let us recruit more militia at the capital. We could also till, but that'll be our last labor. Well, here, let's sow here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. But do we want labor for anything else? So we can either mow or irrigate down the road. I think I'd rather till, because our fertility is not very great. Well, I'll go ahead and do that. And then we're basically done with agriculture. We don't have any more anything. So when summer rolls around, we're not going to be able to do anything. And as we go along, get more population, more technologies, we'll be able to be doing more things. All right. We've already spent our action. We've used our agriculture. Start building some more things. I want to at least get a thing in the slots.
I understand.
Like I said, I always do these first. These are probably the most important things you can do. I'm just gonna max them out in every place I can. Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I think for now, I really just getting as many extra provisions, I think early game is going to be a huge deal. I don't think we need extra reservoirs. They're already covered by one. Oop, no, that. So next we're going to go to stat boosters. Okay, we already have combat here. So do a leader camp. Oop, not that one. Tactics camp. And then I guess a drill ground. Well, actually, I'm not planning this properly. Hold on. Let's cancel this tactics camp and put it over here. And then I won't have to build one for this city.
Understood.
And then a drill ground up here, which just, I don't really like them that much, but it increases their morale. I mean, I'm not even sure if I want to build it. Honestly, I almost feel like building another production or defensive building. Kind of interesting. You can do a bit of a combination, because this one increases your max soldiers only, but this one reduces both of yours. So if you do say something like this, but then have also a patrol post, you can almost kind of skew it in favor of your clan. Reduce theirs, but increase your own via patrol post. Or a ninja village, which just damages the enemy. You know what? Let's do this. This seems kind of like you want to put these at the edge of your territory, which might require you to destroy and replace them if you're really trying to be efficient. Let's do one ninja village there, and then that'll do it for now. Especially, can't do anything else. Let's see. I think that's everything we want to do for this turn. We're just kind of waiting for these troops to replenish. Like, let me take a look at this. So they have some infantry here. I'm actually going to pull the infantry for now, just because having so little is basically pointless, and I'd rather just take the meager amount of extra money it's going to give me. We can up the militia here pretty safely, I would say.
Understood.
How's our harvest here? Pretty, we can probably bump it up. Yeah, we haven't worked on these too much. This one I can bump up a bit. Now, the thing is, when you do this, not only does it, do you not need to go below your needed income, this is just going to straight up not give you as much harvest at the end of it. So, more troops is better, pretty much. Eventually, we're going to want to, I like to play, some clans or daimyo, especially like Chisakabe over here, like to have a lot of militia. Whereas other clans like I did a game as this clan, the Suzuki, they get a big cost decrease for infantry. I know Oda gets a benefit for infantry, so depending on what your daimyo is, you might be more inclined to get militia versus infantry. But I don't think we have any preference. Broken units. Well, in a way, I don't think this is entirely true, but we're kind of incentivized slightly to infantry. If we get less troops that are just more elite as opposed to spamming out a billion militia, that might be more beneficial to having this become in effect. All right, next turn. Yep. So this one is back to normal. This one's back to normal. This one's probably going to take 1 more month to get up to. So we're done negotiating with them. That's going to give us an extra 300 gold per turn.
Let us begin the council. Okay, let's talk.
Definitely taking this one. It's like the first good idea we've had pretty much all game. Decent amount of increases, and we're going to get morale up. We're going to get policy power up amount. I don't know if that's for next time or what. I'm not really sure. Or maybe just it might be affecting probably for next council. And if we go to war, this is they're going to use up more provisions. Now this right here, quality effect, this is tied to the character. Whereas view effect, I think this is kind of random. Depending, like it may or may not be this, but this right here, this is because of this specific character's traits. Like, so we're finally getting some of these. Like, I wouldn't want to do this really because I'm only getting. I'll cancel that in a minute. I'm only getting 2 because I don't typically pick for these. But if I did, I wouldn't get much tech points, but I would get morale up. I don't know if I want that though. I usually just go for tech points. Although I will go out of my way to get. We don't have it, but there's one that reduces the amount of provisions that you consume. Let's see, 8 and 4. Well, okay. Well, what we need for our thing, we need rhetoric and military. So let's take this guy. He's got military points. So, like I said, as you go along, your officers will suggest new policies. So we didn't have that option before. So now we can just unlock this and we'll get an extra fertilizer. So we need 1 more for our resolve. So we don't need any more for our resolve anyways. We need 2 more of these. Let's get Speedy March. It's cheap and cheerful. And then we'll get, I'm going to go Starve Out. So this should unlock once we start the next turn. Our resolves will basically almost be done. Get normal trade zone income up. And might as well get this. Now that is in the area here. You'll see most of these are going to be castle trade zones. So like this one, you'll see in the top right of the tooltip where it says expanded, there's nothing there. So this is a normal trade zone. There's nothing there. That tech is not going to affect these, I believe, because these are castle trade zones. I would say most of the trade zones in the game. Castle trade zones? And then some are these big ones that are special trade zones. So there's either normal, castle, or special trade zones.
Understood.
The other thing, I might as well go over this now. Once you control, or rather, once you've expanded into every node in a zone. So, for example, the Hizen trade node up here, which we still need to get this one. Once you get all of them, and then once this number here, all of them are in gold, like this one. So the value of them has to be above a certain limit. So have all of them. These have to be in gold, and then nobody else can be in your node. So if this guy over here decides to start expanding into my territory like this one, and it'll be shared, that can't be allowed. So if right now I control everything, so I'm in complete control of all my nodes. Once that happens, all 3 of those conditions are met. All of these will all coalesce and merge into one grand trade zone, and it's much easier to manage. Because I only have one action. Because I would have to invest in each and every single one of these individually, and that's going to be not very easy to do. But if they all coalesce into one giant node, oh, perfect. Got one action, although that's going to go up. But we're not there yet. We need to still expand here, and all of these pretty much are not ready to go. But we'll get there. All right, let's continue developing. We got to fill up these slots. Now, we don't have any predilection to either guns or muskets. Muskets or horses, cavalry. So I'm used to playing lots of clans that do muskets. Let's try getting a bunch of cavalry. I don't know, probably a mix. So you'll see on any of these tiles, let me actually cancel that out. There are these dark blue areas. Those are the ones that can build the trading or fishing towns. They're kind of high priority, like premium real estate. Then you've got this other shade. It's kind of hard for me to describe. I guess these are actually darker. But you have this other shade here, and you can see in the tooltip actually which ones are lit up. These mean that you can get the castle buildings, and these are the ones that are adjacent to any castle. Those are these right here. These have to be built adjacent to a castle. Now, I guess these technically have to be built adjacent to a terrain feature, this little light blue fish. These are next to trade zones, these are next to fisheries, and these are next to rivers. These are everything else. So there's these tiles here that don't have, I can't build anything there, so I might as well, instead of filling up these ones which have restrictions, since this is the only thing that can go there, I'm going to go build these on here. Actually, before I do that, let's finish these off first. So, here. So that's shared between these two. We don't have a combat kit yet for these, so let's do that there. So that finishes the trifecta there. We can actually give this a T-town then. That's the next thing I prioritize. That's for popularity. Same thing here.
Understood.
For this castle. This one has a combat camp, and we're going to give you a leadership camp, a tactics camp, T-town. Now, I used to give them post towns because that increases population, but it's kind of silly because popularity also increases the population gain. Now, this gives you even more population than that, but population affects your population gain, but it also gives you a bunch of other stuff. So I find popularity is much more useful. We're out of money. Continue this later. Let's take a look here. So we do have a naval route here and here, so we can get over there from here. Kind of want to hurry up and take these guys out before somebody else grabs them. And we definitely have enough. We're only a few months out for the harvest. We have probably enough stockpiled anyways, but if it starts to run on long, by the time it becomes a long engagement, we're going to have enough supplies. Before we do that, I forgot to, we're going to redistribute some of our forces here. Oops. So you click where you want them to go, select officer, and you can pick from this list, and for the longest time I had to just fiddle through all this, but you can actually hit departure and just click where they're coming from. So we're going to actually move this guy over to our capital. And we don't have a huge surplus of people, so I normally like to have 3 people at every base because that's 1 lord and 2 adjutants, but we're going to do 2 people per base right now. So since we don't have that many, I'm actually not going to use the departure. I'm actually just going to go to affiliation and really just kind of randomly. I'm sure there's a way you can do this more efficiently. What am I doing? This already has people. Oh, gosh. Well, we'll move him later. All right. I just want to make sure each base, and also when you're building, and also don't want to give lords out. When you're building things and upgrading things, the range is also dependent. So if I have a base over here, somebody from over here can't work on it. They're just too far away. So it's good to have a few people there. to be able to do all the work you need to be done in that region. If you have just one person there, it's going to be a lot of work for one person. Kind of messed up here, but here, how about we do this then? We're going to pull them back from Seifukuji, which is right here. We'll pull both of them. Okay. We're going to give it one more turn to let people sort out, and then next turn we're going to declare war on these people. So this is for getting our 4 rhetoric and 4 military policies. Tribe subjugation. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Maybe we should check in on these people. Maybe we're powerful enough for them. Who knows? So this clan wants to improve relations with us. You know what? Considering I'm not the one doing it and spending money, they will. Go ahead. They might be willing to just submit to us without having to fight them. That would be nice. Okay. Let's just double check this. So yes, other clans will request vassalage. I've never had anyone request vassalage before, I don't think. Well, let's take a look. Repair. It's like all of our money. But let's go ahead and repair that. We'll skip a turn of development. And we're done here. I could start investing to prep for the Grand Trade Zone, but I don't think that'll be necessary, especially when you can still expand over here. Okay. Talk to me. Matsura. Oh. Yep, they will do it. Now, I don't know exactly the criteria, but somewhere down the line, I'll get an option, like an advisor will pop up and be like, hey, do you want to integrate this clan? And then I can just absorb them. I don't know if it's purely a time-related or based off of how strong I am or some combination. But you can't do it on your own. It just happens. So eventually, though, this is going to be assimilated into our lands. So basically, this is just a long-term investment without having to fight them. And in the meanwhile, they'll become a dedicated ally. And, you know, I like to, you know, feel like I've made use of my daimyo-specific bonus. Oh, we got another treasure. Ooh, this one's a lot nicer. Grade 6. Sword presented to Nobunaga Takeda by Masanaga Miyoshi Soza. Came in the hands of Nobunaga Oda after the Battle of Okasama. Well, not in this timeline. It's mine now. And I'm not sure. I think they still, if you request troops, they still want something from your vassals, but they're basically locked in. They just can't. No. Also, I can expand here.
Understood.
So basically, get wrecked. Back to development. Where were we? We have 5 sites. This north area is done. These aren't actually connected in terms of placing down the buildings. So we're just going to post these such. Now, I've played around. Oh, well, these are connected, these two. So hold on. Actually, cancel it. Let's do this.
I understand.
Combat camp. This one. In that case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a T-town here.
Understood.
At least we'll get a leadership bonus. Because there's not. This is a weird. I could destroy. There's no point, I think, in destroying them. But this is how it was, the historical setup. So okay.
Ha. Ha.
But yeah, there is amount of money. I've played around with the idea of having dedicated bases, like say, everyone that I want to buff their politics stat goes here. Everyone I want their, intelligence stat go here. But, a little bit too much micromanagement personally. This is enough micromanagement. Thank you very much. right, so we're going to declare war on... Ugh. Well, they're allied, but it's not a huge problem. It's just a bit of a problem. Here's a question. I guess I could try to get them to just submit to me like the other clan. I'm not sure if they would do it, though, because this one was really, really weak. Because even though they're allied, their whole army isn't going to get involved. Basically, like I said, they are in the same situation where they can request some forces, but they don't. They're only going to get so much. It could still be since we're so early on here, that could still be a problem. Old balance. All right, you know what? I think we can't really get more militia here because we just don't have enough harvest. So we're gonna get 1,000 infantry. This one, kind of just want. I don't want at the moment. I just don't want any individual base to have a really small unit. Tons of farmers, not enough harvest. Okay. Understood. Really hurting our income, but I don't know. You know what? Let me put it in perspective this way. We're gonna prep for war. We can always turn these infantry back off once we're done. I just want to get them. It's gonna take us at least a turn or two to get them here. September. Well. All right, so come September, then we'll maybe launch the attack there. I think I have any... Oh, hold on. Okay, so that was that war from forever ago. AI is starting to... Yep, well, I'm done with that clan. Move on to the next one. Well, same story, just to keep good relations.
Allow me to report.
Let us begin the council.
So this guy's glowing. So this is technically considered a good idea. It's not that good. But you know, that is what the designation is. I guess it's because, I mean, at this stage of the game, 14 commercial points is like not horrible, but I'm not sure it's that good either. I guess also there's a possibility it's good because it has the special effects tied to it. I think we want to focus now on probably not too many military policies. I mean, I'll go ahead and do it because I think I need the rhetoric and commerce points. Basically why we're going to do these.
That's what we're going with.
I think this is fun.
And with that, this council is over.
I have a plan.
Okay. So, let's just get more provisions just because. And usually your daimyo has really good stats, and by default I don't think they're allowed to offer up ideas, so I'm gonna actually save up for this. I was gonna say before that happened, I don't think I have. Let me see. Don't think I have any viewers. It says I have one viewer, but that might just be me. I'm not exactly sure. Twitch handles that. If there is one person, hello. No pressure. But let's just go on. Here, let's get our commercial actions. Keep doing this. Basically, it's almost like as you get more territory, it also increases your capacity to have a larger army, because the more territory you have, the more trade zones you're going to be be able to expand in and get a larger income. Let's keep spending our money. Finish building all these unique well, not unique, but castle buildings. So we have combat, leadership, int, and T-Town.
Huh.
All right, so this place has 2 fishing. I'm fine. Just fish me up. Give me the fish. And so now that all these are done, I like to do all these first, and now we're going to do the production buildings, and that's just everything that's left over. So this is good. I'm going to build some horses. Just build them down at the, at the glue factory or whatever. I don't know. Not too much. All right. So we're going to wait till September. Mori has 1. No surprise. Let me actually, once this turns over, or once we begin the next turn, I should say. Trade agreement, no thank you.
Allow me to report.
I like to keep a tight hold on my economy. Let me just see. So Mori is at war with this tiny little clan. They're just consolidating all this junk. Nobody is at war over here. I mean, I didn't think so. Miyoshi is at war with Atakayama, which is surprisingly expanded. Or no, it's just because they took this castle in the war. They haven't. I'm not convinced they'll be able to keep that. Although they are allied with Matsunaga, which is already splintered off from them. I don't think that'll be enough, but who knows? We'll see. So you can do this to see what's currently going on with trade relations, alliances, and such, but you can also do what's kind of nice. If you go to Resolve View, you can see what everyone's resolve is, and also kind of what their intent is. So they are planning on attacking them. That's their immediate goal. They are planning on attacking them. And this is good to know if anyone's going to attack you. So nobody immediately has plans of attacking me. You can also, if you want to know what their resolve does, you can click them and hit this, just to see what people, what their bonuses are. So like I said, with this person, he gets a bunch of bonuses if you have, trading ports, and also having just a bunch of churches. And it's kind of a shame because you can't really build them or anything. You just kind of have to happen to be there. So this is a pretty bad one for me. I don't like this. But I'm not them. So it does not matter. It does not matter to me. Although it would be funny because I could trade with him. So when you monopolize, I guess I didn't mention, when you monopolize an area, you lock it down and nobody else can trade there. I could trade with him. Excuse me. I could trade with him, lock down all my border stuff, and then he wouldn't be able to stop me from trading. He wouldn't be able to monopolize his stuff, and I would just get free money. But I have plenty of expansion potential in Mori, so there's no point. And I don't want to trade with him when I plan on eventually coming. So, case in point, we shall expand here.
Understood.
Next month, we will start new. We're almost done here. So we built a bunch of ranches. We're going to build a few, have this be our musket cluster,
Understood.
you know.
Ha. Understood. Ha.
There we go. Now, the nice thing about where we're at now is I believe everything now has at least a building. Now you can see the AI has started upgrading their buildings. At least some of them have. These rank 2s. But we're not there yet. I would rather have everything be filled with, at least so there's still empty spots and stuff. I'd rather have at least a level 1 in everything before I start upgrading. And we also are kind of poor. Let me see. What rank are we in at? We're rank 9. I'm pretty sure. What did we start off as? 18, something like that. We've gone up in our lot in life. Now this is aggregated, I think, mostly from the amount of soldiers you have. You can go here and also see a lot of other stats. Handy. I think this right here is basically our military soldier count. So we have the 9th most soldiers in the whole game right now. We're doing pretty bad on this other stuff. Our harvest is actually pretty good, relatively speaking. But we're still beginning. We're actually ahead of Nanbu, which is a little surprising. They usually do pretty okay. In terms of, I consider them somewhat minor, but in terms of the minor stuff, I guess we're about in terms of tier rankings. I suppose that we're about even. If I had to guess, well, Mori is still number 1, right? Oh no, my neighbor is number 1. Oh gosh, Mori, what happened, man? Where'd you go? Did I miss him? Mori, hello. They maybe they're just getting beaten up in all these wars they keep fighting. Let's sort by name. Oh, what am I? I'm blind. Did I sort this by? I don't know what. I'm apparently stupid. For some reason, I thought this was at the top, or maybe it was just scrolled down. That's what it was. It was just scrolled down. Crisis averted. Okay, I found it out. Yeah, Mori is still number 1. Hojo number 2. Usually in most games, if you start on an earlier start date, Hojo is like number 1 every all game. Until you get more powerful. Usugi, that's good because, frankly, if you didn't know, there is a historical thing, and this happens pretty much most of the time. These 3 clans, no, they're not actually allied. So this event did not fire in this scenario, or I don't know. Maybe it's already broken up at this point in time. But usually, at least if you start on an earlier date, these 3 clans are allied. But I guess at least Hojo and Imagawa are still allied. Takeda is independent. Basically, I like that Usugi is pretty powerful, because normally if these 3 are allied, they're like the only ones over here to keep them in somewhat check. So, we'll see. I've been playing a lot of scenarios where Oda keeps getting wiped out. It looks like they're going to do fine this time, so I guess I'll have to actually worry about Oda this game. Alright. Keep it moving.
A messenger has arrived.
Sagara, these people down here. They want to trade. No, they just want to vassalize you. It's fairly convenient that they're basically
Last month's results.
spending the diplomatic expenses. Right, so we're back in the autumn. Got our harvest. So we can either do a labor exemption or clear again. Kind of want to just not do anything. Because I want to save. So if I do. Oops, let me go back here. If I do either of these, it's going to cost me labor. Labor exemption by virtue of potential labor, I suppose. And I just want to save that labor. This is what you need to do. To do these things, you need money and labor for these. Money and labor, and then fertilizer and seeds. I want to save my labor for doing this stuff later on in the year. So we're not going to clear anything right now. It's not that important at this stage of the game. Keep expanding. Could do this, but I want to expand into this person's stuff first. Get all their stuff expanded, and then I'll do more Mori land. So we're in September. Now, they're allied, but I'm going to risk it. There's also a slight chance they might not join them, but they probably will. So let me talk to them. I guess you can't vassalize while they're allied to somebody. Well, that's fine. Okay, we're going to attack them and hope for the best.
I'll crush you with this strength.
Yeah. Well, I could request reinforcements from Mori if things go horribly poorly. All right, let me see what it predicts. So, because like you see this line over here, that's reinforcements coming from them and from them. So, it's actually not that bad. Even with their reinforcements, they're going to have 900 extra people than me. The main problem, really, is they're going to get access. I know this character. Let me click that. I know he's got pretty good stats, I believe. Well, you know, relatively. Relative to the other jokers I was fighting over here. And that's from here. That's this guy. So really the main benefit is probably that they're offering a good general to help. Well, why don't we start here, and if we lose, I might go out of my way to ask for help, because if I try to ask for reinforcements, they're going to want... Let's see. This is so far away. They're so bad. I'm just barely getting anything from these guys. I'm going to have to give up all these provisions. Mori? I don't know, see, like, this is at a 9. I don't know if this is based off of how much they like me, or I don't know what determines this cap. See, look, I could give less provisions to get 19. Also, the problem, like I said, I'm going to have to pay for all this. What if I... And it's going to take them, like, it's going to take them forever to march over here and sail across, and I'm going to have to be paying for the provisions the whole time. It's just... It's a logistical nightmare, really. So we're going to do this and hope we can win the fight. And then we'll get to that later. Do we do commerce? Yep. We're going to save our money for now, because that's also something we can bargain with to get the reinforcements. It's probably just doing the provision option because I just don't have enough money for them. Yep. Bye, Akamatsu. You will be forgotten. So yeah, so this battle will fall upon both sides' leadership, saying it's too close. I could do this. Hope for the best. It's a little too early in the campaign for those kinds of reckless, abandon, because you get to a point where you have so many troops, you're just like, throw them at them until something sticks. Fortunately, this guy has pretty good stats at least. But we'll see. Rush main camp. I've never had them suggest that before, and I've never really used it. He's okay, so never mind. My guy is better. Here's actually their daimyo. Not that I can kill him or anything, but he happens to be. We got B's and C's, which is the same as us, but we do have our leader here is pretty good. Also, freaking... I marched them out. I didn't give them anything. They all have freaking spears. Oh well. They don't have anything either, so it's not really a huge problem.
I will show you my skill.
I will show you my skill. Like I said, some of these I find are pretty funny. So you get a commando unit. Now let me see. I didn't realize. Let me hear the explanation, because see, they don't really tell you exactly what that means, other than this. Let me get a more detailed explanation. Holds back its powers until finding them. It won't be able to fight much. When it finds them, however, it charges. So basically, I'm assuming what this just means is if I find their leader, which is here, right? Then it's going to be debuffed at the start, but once it finds it, it's probably going to get a big buff and then just latch on. What if? So this has to be my main force. I could try this. Otherwise, there's no real restrictions. 82, 64. So this is my next... So it's giving it to my next most powerful unit. I'll try it. I mean, it might be a good idea. They have a little bit more forces than I do, and they've got these bases. So I'm going to have to be on the attack anyways. If I can crush their main unit here, it could be beneficial. I'll try it. That's what they suggest. I've never done it. This particular plan. So now we'll do a regular battle. Before I did basically auto-resolve, in a manner of speaking. So, okay. So this guy's attack and morale is really low right now. So So this is how you do this normally. It's actually pretty interesting. You actually have to basically plan out all your moves in advance, and then they act them out. So it's a little bit more strategic than tactical, or vice versa. I don't know. But basically, I would say more strategical, because if you can't strategical, you can't really change all your orders on the fly, which I would assume is constitute as more tactics. So you really have to plan it out, try to see what they're gonna do and what you're gonna want to do, and then have it. You know, you only make adjustments at certain intervals. I'm gonna send one unit up there.
Command. Now, let's move.
Please command me.
I'm not too worried about my main unit getting destroyed here. They're
Please command me.
powerful. You just
Follow my command.
Please command me.
we're gonna want to take out these camps pretty much as soon as possible. You can scoot up, but I want to wait. I couldn't bring them up because I do have to follow a certain slot order, and everything was full. I want to wait until these guys catch up a bit before I move them out. Because if this gap is empty while they move up, if they move in there and flank me, it's bad news.
Let's go.
So now we hit unpause, and basically my plan gets carried out, and then we see what happens, which will basically be nothing. Because I doubt, unless they're doing like a full charge, because they can do their own plan.
Command me. Let's
Actually still kind of waiting for us to catch up.
Please command me.
That's always, this voice, whatever that type is, ridiculous. Alright. I do think this is beneficial. I do like to line up. Like, believe it or not, you want to have a line so that they have a harder time flanking you. So they're actually just kind of going at me in a similar way, but they're a little bit more staggered. Unfortunately, their main unit is way back here. Well, we'll see if he can make a breakthrough. So this is nice, because these guys are going to not have much. This guy's going to have maybe confrontation here, and get these guys without much of a conflict. If you hold shift, you can select everybody and move them up in unison. So we're going to move up like that. You can set which direction they're facing.
Let's begin.
And just move up. We'll see. I mean, we're going to have to try to make a breakthrough with this guy to try to squeeze by and get to their main unit, which they've decided to leave back.
The enemy has been located.
So in effect, they're actually 1,700 units less than what I've got in a way. So here's a unit. Yeah. So basically, like, our scouts reported. All right. Well, they ambushed us. That's not the worst thing in the world, because we did get this. This thing has been destroyed. We're gonna just tell him to attack him, to turn around. This guy still needs to get this, but once you're done with that, I want you to head over towards here. So this was part of our clan or daimyo resolve, is that we should be getting more suggestions. Also, since we're at a numerical disadvantage, we should be getting a slight, I don't know if it's reflected here, like as a buff, but I think this number, we should be getting stat boosts for being at a disadvantage. So this unit here wants to do hamstring, and you'll see, I can't really move at the same time and show it, but you'll see here a line of which unit it's going to affect. So this is going to reduce, and you'll see it right here, what the effect is. It's going to reduce our speed, this unit's speed, by 2, and the other one by 3. So really, this is to slow the enemy down. I don't think it's necessary, but it's also not unnecessary, so sure. It hurts him more than it hurts me. This is actually useful for multiple units, where one will tar pit them and the others can chase them down. So this is going to turn. You move up in this direction. Keep moving up. Maybe try to get around the side. Oh, this guy's going to stop me. You move up and kind of fill this gap. I might flank him for like a split second. He's going to hamstring me, not a problem. So we're doing a little pincer, yep, on this guy, but it's going to stop since he moved up. So we've kind of got our battle line formed. It's very organized right now. Concentrate. This is much better. So I think that icon is vision range, which I don't know why that's there, but more importantly, we get ups to defense.
This strike.
We're not going to be moving. Might as well take some more defense. I'd rather have attack. So where's our commando? Can I actually just like brute force through here? Let's try. Let's see if I can move through here. You're going to just have to hang in there, buddy. Distract 2 for 1. It's a good ratio. In fact, actually, let's leave that to him. Let's pull him over and try to flank this unit. I've got both of the side ones. Having only one of these here is not the worst thing in the world. Although I do want to clear it out eventually. Don't worry, he's not going anywhere. Oh, they're all retreating. Huh.
Crush them.
This is the enemy's main unit. Oh, okay, I don't even have to be engaged with him. I just need to find him. That's better. And now he's going to be locked in and just bum rush this guy. Okay.
Please command. Give me an order.
Now, I don't actually have to attack, like, click this and this. If I do this, it's just going to keep following them. The way it works, as far as I know, I just have to be next to them, and then this unit will, like, exert its attack power on all adjacent enemies. Although, doing that does also make them face towards them, so it's not the most useless thing to do. They're falling back. I guess they felt they were out of position, or I don't know. But they brought him up as well. So I don't know what's going on. Oh my gosh. He's really going at it. Oh my, look at his attack and defense, 232. Yeah. Good plan. Let's bring the leader up to the unit that's the leader killer. Okay. Well, you know what? In fact, here's my leader. I can just kind of start sandwiching this dude. There's like a big gap here. Let me move him up this way and maybe eventually get towards that thing. I think I'm going to start pincering this guy. As long as we're really slow. It's like I said, this circle kind of tells you their movement, but they're not going to be able to move that far. This guy, I think, needs to guard this flank. So unfortunately, he can't really make it there. Pincer on that guy for a split second. Yep, pincer on the leader like I expected. Broke that unit. You know what? If you guys want to turtle up around this, be my guest. Honestly. Yeah, head over there. You move in this way. You try to... Oh, what do you want to do? Pursue? No. Because it's going to pursue this unit over here, and I don't... That's going to get him out of position. I think this is fine. He's moving. He's still on them, and he's going to try to get around this main unit. Oh my god, that is such a huge buff. This unit should, especially with backup, should just destroy this guy. 25 when we're only losing 3. They're trying to reposition, but we are just constantly pincering this dude. I don't know, like they made a really weird... AI, before, you might say, oh, AI is dumb. It's actually not that bad. Dishearten. Could lower their morale. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, just about to break. Lowers our speed, but go ahead and try to break this unit, and then he'll be free, essentially. Deathsworn is really good. I don't want to move up because he's going to get flanked from these guys, probably. Deathsworn is just a general stat boost. So you hang out there, and you've kind of got this guy surrounded anyways, so... You actually swap over to this guy. Oh, I think the ambusher thing ran out. I think it... Oh, no. There it is. Where is he? Or is that just from Deathsworn? I don't know. I think this guy was our commando. I think that effect ran out. This is broken. So you just move in there and just try to, do, the dirty from behind here. Yeah, we should have... we're like, this is not looking good. But let me put it this way. We started this with like a 2,000 troop discrepancy when we're catching up, like right now. We're like We're 90 people behind. So we're killing more of them. All right, well, we didn't break him, but
Please, command.
that's fine.
Ready yourself.
You stay on him for now, although we might have to. You do this.
Please command.
Sorry. This, and then try to move over there and try to get behind him. What do we got? Caution. That'll make him retreat, but give him a big defense and movement bonus. Hamstring, pursuit. I don't want to really do either of those things. Or no, sorry. Who is this? If you were pursuing this unit, I would do it.
Witness my plan.
I'm going to do caution for one turn, and he'll get out of there and recover morale.
This is my plan.
Pursuit. Well, you know what? Let's do that. And there's all this other crap in the way anyways. It's just going to give him attack bonuses, so let's get in there. Once we get this, then these outposts won't be passively giving them... yeah, especially because they're... Even though we didn't destroy it completely, their leader being routed is really giving us a huge bonus. And this is destroyed. You get back in here now.
Prepare yourselves. Witness my plan.
Come Deathsworn.
This is my plan.
Who is this targeting of this routed unit? That won't be necessary.
Please, command.
Get in there. You just keep chasing him, and I think we just keep going. Yeah, we're gonna win because as long as he doesn't regroup
Men to the front.
and they're broken, that's gonna give us more.
Spearmen to the front.
There. We go.
There appears to be someone with a plan. This plan will level them.
The charge. I don't know, just do all the things. I'm glad everyone, like, now that we're a millimeter from winning, everyone else, now everyone's got a freaking bright idea. Okay, well, we should win like half a second when we unpause. There. So this is why you want to do the battles sometimes instead of auto-resolving. It's really close.
No way to live
Okay,
for
yeah.
those-
Well, our aggression is really high.
That is the
We're capped out on aggression. They lost almost twice as many people as we did. Coalition destroyed. So we've got some captives. So for example, we can't hire this guy before, though, as mentioned, we can't employ him. So we can choose to kill him if we want. And then he won't help them anymore. I don't know, I wish I kind of knew if he had a treasure on him or not. I don't know if one of these tabs... Oh, there it is. No, he doesn't. But I don't think he's... And eventually we might recruit him ourselves, so we'll just let him go.
my thanks.
Okay. Onwards, Kumamoto. And that's our win 3 battles. Yes. And let's remind us... Okay. That's the end of the
Allow
turn.
me to report.
I mean, I'll allow it.
Let us begin the council.
Alright. That's pretty good. And unit speed up. I like it. Provisions and military? Yeah, sign me up. Let's go trade and military.
And with that, this council is over.
So we're gonna get Daimyo Council speech for the possibility of our Daimyo here, old Takanobu here. So with these ones, so pasture, trade zone, special port, etc. You can get an overview here of what you actually have. So for example, pasture, we have one pasture, but we've got 3 ports. So let's get port maintenance. We get both, but let's just get everything. We have 5 churches. If we had something, there is one, we haven't discovered it yet, but there's one that it gives you bonus income for every church trade zone you've got, but don't have it yet. Wish the angle wouldn't. Oh, okay, we're back. Wish the angle wouldn't reset every time you did this, but all right. So we're going to keep expanding. Alright, so at this one, when going to... Oh, we didn't even have that bonus yet, but we do now. So if we ever have less troops than our opponent, and you can see how that can happen, our attack power goes up. Well, at least we didn't... Well, let me put it this way. We didn't get the debuff, at least. So is that everything? No, we still need to get this. So once we get 20,000 troop total, it's listed as a positive. These are all supposed to be positives, right? I don't know how good that is. Having them recover more slowly is not exactly the best thing you want. I mean, I guess the thing is that when they come back, they'll be better and stronger than before, I guess. Something. We're gonna still... Yeah, we're not gonna worry about the rest of this for now. Yeah. Let's just keep going. So that is a pretty strong castle, though. We're gonna have to siege this. All right. It's 6,000. It's a B strength castle. Yes.
Messenger has arrived.
Well, they just want peace. No, thank you. We didn't even get anything. Oh wow. So okay. So even though this is a B class castle, and it has, come on, has 6,000 HP, which would hurt me pretty bad if I sieged or stormed it. You can see because their aggression is pretty low. We are just sieging the shit out of it, basically. All right. Do our expansion and move along mostly. I'd like to monopolize this, but it's super expensive. Yep. Nothing to do, really, right now. Don't want to trade or develop anything. I'd rather wait until we're out of the war before I spend my money. In case I need it in case of emergencies here.
We have taken this.
Oh. I'm not going to hire him for now. Might get him later.
You have my thanks.
Hey,
Let's go.
and just scoop him up.
Advance.
Mori just declaring war on all the things.
Surround them.
This one we're going to siege, because we kind of, like, once the war will be over, we won't want to hurry up and take them out. Oh my gosh, Mori, I'm glad I'm allied with them. They are attacking all the things, like, literally. It's actually, I think that's a strength of the AI, as opposed to them just, I've seen other games where they'll just sit there and not be that aggressive, oh gosh,
Please come
aggressive. But they know they're strong. They know there's a bunch of weak clans next to them. They're just gonna scoop up all this junk. Although Miyoshi here is not what I'd call a tiny clan, but they're definitely more powerful. I mean, look at this. Doesn't look quite as bad. Yeah. Oh. When did Miyoshi always have Kyoto, which is Nijo Palace? Because apparently, the old buddy friend Mitsuhide over here is attacking them, which is Oda. So everything's we're probably going to get an event here pretty soon then, because once Oda takes Kyoto, that should set other things in motion. Alright, well, we've got this area now, so we're going to expand here instead of back up there. We've got agriculture to take care of once every winter. So we can do our fertilizer, which is going to be for fertility, obviously. Let's see, is anything particularly in need? 48. Now, the fertility slowly degrades, so it's not like it's a permanent thing, but we'll do our capital.
Understood.
I'm not going to clear. Clear is a little bit more, I've come to find, is a little bit more specialized, if you ask me. Unless surplus, especially because if we already have surplus farmland, worried about it at all. Because you don't need to clear really until you need more farmland. I mean, you'll get a better harvest, but like I don't think it's worth it unless you need the extra farmland or if you have like a really large surplus of refugees. Let's just take this. Just take it.
We have taken this castle.
So move on. Just start from the top. Oh no, it wasn't from that other clan. This is their leader, or at least their best stats person. So this is pretty good. This guy's pretty good. We are playing in a historical scenario, so he will die eventually, which is unfortunate. But you know, while we got him, he's pretty good. We'll take. Can't be. I like to be somewhat picky, but at the beginning of the game, we can't be like too picky. And most of these are very mediocre. We're gonna take everybody except for this dude. His stats are too low. Everybody else, I'll give him a pass because we're kind of early on, and I just need warm bodies to manage this, and then we're gonna disband. Cause,
Let's go back.
no sense spending our supplies on nothing. So now we've got a pretty good base here. Wait till the next turn. Yep. G's are back. So Choshikabe is going to start moving out. That'll be interesting to see who comes out on top on Shikoku. And what did I tell you? Since they just took Kyoto. Oh, okay. I must have missed something, or I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, Miyoshi must have taken over Kyoto. That's how this happens. And then Ashikaga runs over to Oda and says, "Hey, did you take the land back for me?" And he does, except then he doesn't give it back either. I just simply want Owari. Sure. Miyoshi still lay claim. My lord. Oh, father of the shogunate. The portraits don't really change on their age. I'm not really sure if I don't know exactly how old they are. Some young characters just have a really old portrait and vice versa. Well, some of them change. Some of the important characters, like Nobunaga's portrait, changes throughout the game, but your most trusted advisor, Mitsuhide Akechi. He took the capital himself. Basically, best guy. Put him in charge. Let him do everything for you. Let him in. Oh yeah, you should trust this guy too. He's very trustworthy. Look at it. How could you not trust a man with such a... Look at it. His facial hair, 1 for 1. Same thing. You gotta trust somebody with the same kind of facial hair. No, don't. Look, that's all in the past. Stealing, burning the... Don't worry about that. Yeah, it's all exaggeration. The 99 caddy. I guess that's what this is. He's always holding that, but I guess that's something important for his story. I like dangerous men. Like you. Okay.
Allow me to report last month's results.
All right. Well, and with that, well, let's take care of the council. Hold on. You know what? I see shiny. I click. Okay. This 3, 2, 3. You know what? Okay, so there is another option. You can click this and just tell them to go back and try again. I don't like any of these.
Let's talk.
19?
Sounds
It's pretty good for this stage of the game. Oh gosh, alright, 14. Oh. Well, all these are just bad. I don't know if I necessarily even want these points, but I know I don't want to take 2 rhetoric points.
Sounds good to me.
Distance marching. Oh, well, that special that'll be relevant somewhat soonish. We do actually have one here. But anyways, on that note, with Nobunaga restoring the shogun, I guess he doesn't actually take it for himself in terms of the gameplay. He does actually restore this clan here. Yeah, like I said, Miyoshi here starts off as number 1 in a lot of scenarios. But, you know, between the Matsunaga faction, oh gosh, here, and Oda coming in, Ashikaga, I guess they actually got a little bit of extra land. Doesn't help that Mori's attacking them. Yeah, they're going to just basically slowly crumble away. This area is just a mess of alliances, too. Usually, if there's ever going to be a region where there's a ton of alliances, you know, this area typically has a lot of them. Compared to, say, I don't know. But either way, we're not doing too bad. This clan hasn't expanded a whole heaping lot. This clan hasn't expanded a whole heaping lot. And that's what I like to say. Especially this clan. If these guys get out of control, it's going to be a problem. But anyways, I think, like I said, on that note, we'll call it there. This is kind of the situation we're in right now. Basically hoping Mori doesn't murder us. And we've doubled our domain, picked up a vassal. All is going according to plan. Probably sweep through all the rest of this to the south before taking on them, unless they attack us first. Either way, that'll be for next time. I'm going to call it now. Let me take a look here. Hold on. Still on 1 viewer. I think that 1 viewer is still me. But anywho, that'll be it for now. I'm uploading this to YouTube. Until then.